Hey everyone. So there I was in Paris, waiting for my flight to go to Dublin to catch my other flight to go to Boston when I got the alert that the flight would be delayed. And I thought, all right, maybe just an hour or two. 3 hours go by and the plane finally arrives. Apparently, there's a strike by the airport workers and there's a staff shortage. And in order to get to it takes 2 hours to get from Paris to Dublin, and my flight from Dublin to Boston is in 2 hours. So you can imagine my panic at the fact that the plane has just arrived, and I'm not the only one who also has a flight to catch in Dublin. There's a whole bunch of us, and as we get on the plane, the captain comes on the loudspeaker and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, we know that many of you have flights to catch. We will try to get it there as quickly as possible." And to his credit, he does put the pedal to the metal, and we get there in an hour and 45 minutes. That means we have 15 minutes to catch our flights. The captain comes on the loudspeaker again, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not have a connecting flight, please remain in your seats so that the passengers who do have a connecting flight can disembark." And to their credit, they also remain in their seats, and the rest of us jump up madly and start running around the plane trying to find, where did we put that carry-on? Where did we put the briefcase? One man in particular was very aggressive about it. He was flipping open overhead compartment doors, trying to find his family's luggage. And he found it, and he got it down. And as he and his wife and his daughter start marching down the aisle, he goes, excuse us, we have a plane to catch." I'm like, yeah, no kidding, buddy. I'm the last one to get up because I'm a timid, passive person. And as I'm rising, all the other passengers who have been waiting there patiently, they start getting up too. And I say, "No, wait, there's one person who has a connecting flight." So I rush over and I know exactly where my purple carry-on is, get it down, start going down the aisle, and somebody says, "You go, girl." And people start clapping. I'm like, I do improv, but I don't do improv on planes. So I get into the airport, and I run into a wall of people, and it's the passengers who've just disembarked. And somebody says, "All the flights have left. They're going to the US. They've left us behind." I'm like, are you kidding me? I've been sleeping in hotels for the last 2 weeks. I do not want to sleep in an airport. Luckily, we get brought down to the airline counter. The airline is Aer Lingus. And there was one employee behind the counter, and we make a line, and she takes our names one by one, and she tells us that overnight we will get an email with our new connecting flight information. And then we're put on a bus, and we're schlepped to a hotel at the outskirts of Dublin. Like, oh, great, another hotel. My hotel room was at the top floor, and it smells like rotten eggs. I did not sleep well that night. I kept getting up every couple of hours, checking my email, no email. I tried to call. I was on a line for an hour. Nobody picked up the phone. I'm like, okay, just breathe. The next morning, I go and have breakfast. And then afterwards, I start walking around, wondering what should I do. And I run into the passenger, the dad who had been trying to find his family's luggage. And I do something that I almost never do because I'm an introvert. I talk to him. And I said, "Did you get your email?" He's like, "No, I didn't get my email." And I said, "Did you call the airline and did you get through to someone?" He's like, "Well, I called a special accommodations line, the line you use for wheelchairs, special meals, that kind of thing. And I got through to someone and I got my reservation." And he said, "Do the same thing." And I'm like, okay. And so I did. And within 10 minutes, I got through to someone. And a young man named Monty with a very thick Irish accent, he says, "Hello, can I help you?" I'm like, "Yes, please help me. I don't need a special accommodation. I just need to get home." And he got me a flight for the next day. So by this point, I was going to have 2 nights in the hotel in the rotten egg smell room. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to treat myself. So I spent 40 extra euros so I can have a seat in the front of the plane, or closer to the front. It wasn't going to be in the real front. The next morning, I was in that seat. Nobody was next to me until family came. Dad and the daughter sat behind me. Mom and the baby sat next to me. 45 minutes before the plane took off, the baby started to cry and cry and cry. I wanted to cry. I was like, I spent 40 extra euros so I can be next to a crying baby. The mom said, oh, let's talk to the lady next to us, trying to pacify the baby. And I'm thinking, don't you dare talk to me. Don't you dare. The pacifier went flying, landed on my lap. Picked up the pacifier, handed it to the mother without looking at her. Finally, the flight attendant came over, maybe took pity on me, and she said to the mother, there's 4 seats in the back. Would you like to sit together as a family? And the mother said, yes. And I said, yes. And so they all went back there, and I had 7 hours of peace and quiet, finally got home, and I have yet to fly since. Thank you.